Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Vance.
And thank you, Angela and Auntie Lil, for that introit. We certainly need expressions of love. It's so wonderful. I'm going to ask you to join me in this opening affirmative prayer. So we just recognize the one power, the one presence, which is God, expressing as each and every one. It is love, the love that we are. So I know that this service this morning is an uplifting, loving, joyous experience. And our consciousness and our hearts expand into that greater awareness of the one, that greater awareness of the love that we are. And we just let this love flow from us to bless, to heal, to touch everyone who we encounter. Indeed, the entire cosmos is blessed this morning. And I know that our speaker this morning, Rev John, the beloved, allows himself to be a clear and open channel for the expression of love, for the expression of spirit. And I know that every word he speaks this morning raises our consciousness, raises our vibration to that level of love and above. And it is good. And very, very good. And I release these words, giving thanks that all this is so, and so it is. We're going to start with our chant this morning, I Raise My Life. And that's on page 2.
I raise my life, I praise my life, in the name of love. Amen. I raise my neighbor, I praise my neighbor, in the name of love. Children, I praise the children in the name of love. Amen. I praise Jamaica, I praise Jamaica in the name of love. I praise the world in the name of love. Amen.
So we just let love just fill our hearts and our consciousness as we go into the Sabbath. And just bring your awareness now back into the sanctuary. Just become aware of your body. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. I'm going to ask you to read with me the affirmation of divine love, and that's on page 2 in your programs. Affirmation of divine love. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for this church now. Divine love is now victorious, and so it is. Today's inspirational reading is from the Sands of Mind magazine, and this is from the July 2020 issue. And it's by Reverend Catherine Saw. It's titled The Loving Heart. Though the human body is born completely in one moment, the birth of the human heart is an ongoing process. It is being birthed with every experience in your life. And that's from John O'Donoghue and from Ernest Holmes, from our textbook. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. The above quote from the poet John O'Donoghue speaks to me, and I felt compelled to offer it to you. It struck me as so true that our hearts continue to be birthed with every experience. How has my heart grown over the years? With every choice, it has become hard and closed or soft and open. I know and feel the difference in the very moment of choice. And still sometimes I choose the unloving word or action. Ouch. Time to forgive myself, ask forgiveness from those I have hurt, and move on with renewed intention to be a healing presence in the world. It is encouraging to realize that we can err and then begin again without being bound forever to old mistakes. I take comfort in the knowledge that my heart has unlimited opportunities to create and recreate itself with every loving gesture or thought. Truly, we are works of art, always in the process of expressing. In his book, Can We Talk to God?, Ernest Holmes writes, "We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? I would like to produce a loving heart, tender and undefended. A tall order, perhaps, but one worth striving for. How else can I renew my spirit?" So I just want us to affirm today. Today, I'm a midwife to a loving heart that knows its connection to all of life. Today, I'm a midwife to a loving heart that knows its connection to all of life. I just want to add I am, and I'm magnificent, and you can say this also, I'm a magnificent work of art.
I am a magnificent work of art.
And so it
So it
is.
is.
We're now, we're now going to have our announcements for today.
Yes, it's correct. It's correct.
No, announcements. Our flowers this morning are the joyful expression of spirit expressing through Mrs. Judith Deere, using flowers contributed by our faithful cadre of flower agents. Thank you all. They are truly beautiful.
Indeed. Beautiful.
Do we have any first-time guests worshiping with us in person on this special day? I'm going to ask you to stand so that our usher can place a sticker over your heart. Not seeing anyone standing. Well, if you are a first-timer online, welcome to our hearts. We behold the Christ in you, and we behold the Christ in everyone in the sanctuary. Now there's a new development. We now have a WhatsApp group. And as I take out my phone, we are on WhatsApp, and we welcome you to join our new Temple of Light notice board WhatsApp group, where we will share with you notices of upcoming events, announcements, etc. Similar content to what we'd post on the physical notice board here in the sanctuary. To join this group, you can find the link on our Facebook page. And in the coming week, we will share this via email as well. So that's the invitation to join our WhatsApp group. You are invited to join our Wisdom Circle this morning, immediately following our celebration. Today, we will continue discussing the writings of New Thought luminary Dr. Tom Johnson in his book, Lessons from the Source. And then we know there are quiet moments in the garden. Join Rev John Scott on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 a.m. for a refreshing and insightful early morning start to your day. And then we have spiritual mind healing service, and that's on Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Facebook and on the Zoom platform. And this week, the presenter is yours truly, Vance Gardiner. And the link is sent out on your mailing list. And if you want to know how to be present to the presence, join me this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Prayer Power, and that's an hour of communion on Thursday evenings at 6. And that comes to you via Zoom. The link is sent out on Thursday mornings from our mailing list. And then there are classes. Join Reverends Sonia Davidson and Han Chand on Thursdays by Zoom from 7 to 9 p.m. for the Art of Uncertainty, based on the book of the same name by Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. And the contribution is only a love offering. So join Reverend John Scott for a face-to-face class on Thursdays titled 10 Secrets for Success and Inner Peace from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's from the book by Dr. Wayne Dwyer of the same name, same title. And on Saturdays from 11 to 1 p.m., you can join Reverend John Scott again for the pleasures and perils of public speaking. This 10-week series provides participants with an opportunity to learn how to construct and deliver interesting, entertaining, and informative speeches, as well as to overcome the fear of public speaking. The contributions for the class is 1,200 Jamaican dollars or 10 US dollars for registered members, and 1,600 Jamaican dollars or 12 US for others. Sorry. Prayer support. We continue to respond to all your requests for prayer. A practitioner is available to pray with you immediately following our Sunday service. On duty today is practitioner Jennifer Livingston, and the number is 876-289-0709. Sorry. If you would like to speak to our minister, you can also call the same number. Donation, tithes, offerings. To financially support our ministry, kindly visit our donate page, which has our banking details. Thank you for your generosity and for helping us to be a beacon of light in the world. This concludes our announcements. Please join us in the singing of our praise song, My Heart.
Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart. I want to be more loving in my heart. In my heart. In my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart. Yes, I'm going to be more cheerful in my heart. In my heart. Yes, I'm going to be more cheerful in my heart. In my heart, in my heart. Yes, I'm going to be more cheerful in my heart. I shall radiate God's heaven in my heart. In my heart, I shall radiate God's heaven in my heart. In my heart, in my heart, I shall radiate God's heaven in my heart.
Please remain standing as we say the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community, from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and glory forever. And so it is. You may be seated. I will now light the candle for the youth of the world. I light the candle for the youth of the world, and we say the blessing of the children. We love you. We appreciate you. We salute the Christ in you, and we see you as shining lights onto your word. God is blessing you now, and so it is. We'll now have our mission song.
The temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one in spirit, on a mission. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us anytime, night or day. The temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one in spirit, on a mission. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us anytime, night or day.
I'm going to ask you to stand as we do our first hymn. Morning has broken.
Morning has broken
like the first morning.
Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's dew fall,
Sunlit from heaven,
like the first
dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass.
Mine is
The sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden so plain. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
You may be seated. And now it's time for someone who needs no introduction, so I won't even try to introduce him. It's our pastor, Rev John Scott, the beloved, to bring us his loving encouragement for this morning. Reverend John.
Thank you, Vance, and good morning. You absolutely, how did Vance refer to you? Magnificent works of heart. I love that. Let us all say together, I am a magnificent work of heart. I am a magnificent work of heart. And that is true whether you are in the sanctuary, you are or enjoying the live stream, the love stream at home. It is true of everybody everywhere on the planet. Each is a work of heart. And you know, when I go into an art gallery to look at works of art, there are some that resonate with me. Some I immediately gravitate towards. In Jamaica we say spirit tech. And some, well, I reserve judgment on them. They may not be my kind of of work. But each one is a unique individualization of the Creator, don't? And so that just is just a wonderful metaphor for me, that you are a work of heart, and that all that you are has been created by the master artist, musician, architect, mathematician, whatever profession you can think of. That presence and power within us is the master that has honed us to do a unique and unstoppable and beautiful work in this world. And so, you know, my friends, I was thinking about this on one of my early morning walks in the neighborhood to which I have recently moved. And I greeted one of the groundsmen who had just begun doing some work on the grass verge. And I paused to thank him for the wonderful job he and his colleagues are doing of taking care of the gardens. And he said, "Thank you, sir." And as I turned to continue my walk, he said, "You're a minister, don't?" I said, "How you know? Somebody tell you?" Him said, "No, I see it in you." Wow. That just, it just, you know, when I leave this place, the 46 Fairway Avenue, Kingston 10 in the evenings, I need to remind myself that I can't take off that which I have committed myself to. I can't take off the minister hat any more than I can take off the God's Son hat. I have to be what I was created to be. And it's not the first time someone out of the clear blue, a stranger, has said, "You're a minister, don't?" or "You're a pastor, sir." And then sometimes continue to tell me the most intimate details about their lives out of the blue, or apparently out of the blue, because there are no mistakes. And when you wake up in the mornings and you say, "Here am I, Father, send me," then you're going to be sent and go where the Spirit take you. You know, I've told you this story before, but I wanted to repeat it here because it's such a powerful statement to me of how this energy that we carry within us and that we emanate works. Down at the University of Tower Street, which is my pet name for the prison here in Kingston, where we do the program titled "What's Your Thinking? Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life." I always, at the first class of the 12-class series, make a promise to the participants. I say, "Look, I will be here every Tuesday morning, except there is some natural phenomenon like a hurricane, or if I'm on a slab in the morgue down the road. Otherwise, I'll be here." And I thank God that in the almost 9 years that we have been ministering there, I have been able to keep that promise. You can clap. And so, my friends, the story that I know I've shared with you is that one Tuesday morning I got there on time as usual. And sometimes you go through what is called the main gate, you go through the processing, and the people there know you, and they say, "Come along, Rev," and it doesn't take any time. And sometimes if you have a new, enthusiastic sentry, you go through you with a fine-tooth comb. So I was preparing myself because I didn't recognize the young man there. And the superintendent came out and said, "Morning, Rev." And I said, as soon as he said "Morning, Rev" to me, like he knew me, the sentry stood up, straightened up himself. So he said, "You're not going to have a class today." I said, "You mean you are not going to have a class today, Soup?" He said, "No, the warders are on a bit of industrial, they're having an industrial conversation." And so there won't be any class. I said, "Okay, I know for you all a amicable settlement of whatever the issues are, and please tell the guys for me that I'll be here next week," knowing full well that nobody going to tell them nothing because they don't count them as having to know anything but lockdown now, get up now, eat now, whatever. But anyway, I went my way. The next Tuesday, as soon as class convened, a young man in the group said, "Reverend, think you did said that only a natural occurrence like a hurricane or the morgue would have stopped you from coming on a Tuesday. Which of those was the case last week?" So I laughed. And before I could answer, another participant said he was here. So I said, oh, you know. The superintendent tell you? He said, superintendent don't tell me nothing. I said, well, how you know? You can see me from where you are on the north block down in the reception area. He said, no. He said, I know when you come on this property. I said, well, how you know? He said, when you come onto this facility, that's the word he used, the energy changes. Now, that's a very strong statement coming from a participant in a workshop who I've only known a few days. And I decided to pursue it. So I said, that's an interesting statement. What do you mean by energy? How it look? How it feel? What is it? And there was a long, long silence. And then he leaned forward in his chair and he pointed at me and he said, it looks like love. It looks like love. Wow. I go home and looking in the mirror and said, this is what love looks like. But friends, that is the energy that we transmit. And you know, I abandoned the lesson plan for the class because that was an opportunity to take us down another path. And I said to him and to them, to the class, because they all said, yeah, and I taught them this thing that they, instead of clapping, they sparkle, which is the sound of 1,000 men clapping. And I said, you know, the master teacher, Yeshua, Bar Joseph, a.k.a. Jesus, gave us a new commandment. He said, a new commandment I give you. Him not just the Old Testament, you know. But he said, I give you a new, is really a demandment. It is that ye love one another. Hear him, even as me. Love one another. Wow. Love one another, even as I have loved you. I know business what you did. I don't business where you come from. I don't care whether you come off a high table or whether you grow up under dire circumstances. I don't business if you were a victim of abuse. I don't care where you are coming from. I love you. And the commandment is, let me see if I can find the Bible reference for those of you who like to look up. I made certain, I did it, yes. It is John, I'm sure. Yes, it's John 13:34. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. So that is the title of my encouragement this morning. I come this morning, my friends, to give you here in the sanctuary and you magnificent works of heart on the World Wide Web that are tuned in this morning, a new commandment, or rather to reiterate the new demandment given by Yeshua Bar Joseph, the way sure. Love one another, even as Jesus loved and loves you, even as God loves you, and even as I, John the Beloved, love each and every one of you. And you know, friends, if I haven't learned anything else in my 19 years of ministry, the thing that I have learned most of all is to keep my heart open, so that even when others are angry or displeased with me and they don't like how I sit or what I stay or what I stand for, I can still be in a loving space to just say in my heart, look, this is God picking me, just like me. And so we are brother and sister, or brother and brother. And God cannot be divided against God. The family is one. There is one presence and one power. And when we acknowledge, realize, and latch on to that amazing truth that we are divine. We had an affirmation of divine love this morning. That is the essence of our being. And when we know that, we begin to relate to others the way Jesus, the way Shoah, related. And there is nothing we can do because you begin to realize that the love of God and the power of God doesn't flow to you, it flows through you. And so, instead of looking for the right, perfect person for you and him or her today, you need to become the right, perfect person. You need to become what you are looking for, and what you are looking with are the eyes of the divine. And just remind yourself as often as you can of this eternal and everlasting verity. You are divine, and so is every other self upon the face of the planet. So friends, love is a funny thing, but it is real. And Ernest Holmes, who in 1927 founded this teaching known as the science of mind, and later we added and spirit, writes in his textbook of the same name, the science of mind, and I quote, "Love is more than a sentiment. It is a need, a hunger, a thirst, which is perfectly natural. Anyone who thinks he can love and be happy, can live and be happy without it, does not really know what he's talking about, psychologically, emotionally, physiologically, or spiritually. Love is the beginning and the end, the one sentiment in nature that will not be denied." End of that Holmes quote. So friends, God is love, and we must let it be and do its perfect work in and through us. No question about it. A basic spiritual principle is that there is only oneness throughout all of creation. Like it or not, you better believe that you are one with everything and everyone. And I'm going to tell you something. You see, when you buck up somebody and your spirit not take, it's more about you than about them. And I'm going to give you a little secret. If a behavior from other people shows up more than 3 times in your life, take a stop, call hall breaks, and look at yourself. It is an indication from the universe, because remember, everything and everybody in your world is a reflection of what? Your consciousness. Until my dying day, I remember Reverend Dr. Elmer Lumsden standing at this lectern and saying, when you look in the mirror, if your hair not look good, don't comb the mirror. What you do? Work on yourself. And every Sunday morning before she left that prayer room, she stopped and she looked in the mirror. And I find myself doing it too. Not out of vanity, but just to say, let me see what my people are going to see. Let me see what I'm going to present for God today. How am I going to show up for God? And it was an important part of her ministry, and I have taken a page out of her book. Let us affirm together, because I am a divine child of God, I accept and revere the divinity in others. Together, because I am a divine child of God, I accept and revere the divinity in others. In a half voice. Because I am a divine child of God, I accept and revere the divinity in others. In a whisper. Because I am a divine child of God, I accept and revere the divinity in others. And now, in your heart, you feel the change of energy? It's just amazing. When you accept the higher image of who you are, my friends, when you relate to others from the awareness that you are a spiritual being, you no longer relate to yourself as a creature whose satisfaction is derived purely from physical pleasure. You stop relating to others in terms of their physical appearance or their behavior and are able to express respect, kindness, love, and compassion to everyone. In our Perils and Pleasures of Public Speaking class, or maybe it was on Thursday. I can't remember which. I think it was on Thursday. It was in our Thursday class last week. 10 Secrets of Success and Inner Peace. One of the participants said, how do I, my paraphrase, love the person that gets on my last nerve? I want to know how do I put that aside? And you know the secret, my friends, is that I've lived with it since Thursday because it happens to me too. We need to look at that person and say, or those people, and say, this is God's work of heart. This is a magnificent creation of the master who can make no mistakes. And this is how these peculiarities, these idiosyncrasies, these behaviors, this way of dressing, whatever it is that we don't resonate with, was intended by the Creator for this particular soul to learn whatever they have come here to learn and to be, and to do whatever they have come here to be and to do. And when you change the way you look at the people who you don't resonate with, they begin to change in your eyes. They may begin to change too, because as you know, when you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at people, they show up differently in your life. I never forget years ago when I just first came here, Reverend Emma told me a story about an old lady walking down Hopefield Avenue at sunset with her bag of groceries, 2 bags of groceries, one in each hand. And she became aware of a young man walking close behind her. So she stopped under the street light and turned and said, "Come here, young man. I'm an old lady. Help me with these 2 bags." And I just lived down the road. And she handed them to him and turned her back and walked. And he followed her, and she went to her gate. And those days you had a pedestrian gate. She opened the pedestrian gate, and she walked up the garden path, and he walked up behind her. And she went, put her key in the door, and she opened it. And she said, "Put them on the dining table for me. Let me look at my purse and see if I have money to give you." And he said, "It's all right, mother, just give me a blessing." Now, she will never know what his original intention was. But you know, friends, people show up how you expect them to show up. And so, this idea of people and life mirroring back to you is so powerful. I can tell you that to people who are angry, everybody else in the world look like them vexed too. And to people who have a loving, open heart, everybody seems to be friendly and wonderful and just there for you to enjoy and for you to go through life together on a song and with a prayer of praise on your lips that you happen to meet on life's path. Life is indeed a mirror, and if you don't look good, don't comb the mirror. No, I'm not going to say to you that because you are taking this attitude and working on or practicing the new commandment that you're not going to have people that you don't resonate with. There will be people who are angry with you or who you are angry with. There may even be relationships in which there is abuse and you don't have to put up with that. Even when there is abuse and you have to walk away from a relationship, make a choice to terminate that, you can do that and still see the God in the person and still love not what they have done or are doing, but love the fact that the Creator made them, and you can look past what they're doing. It changes the anger and the depression and the sorrow that you may be feeling. Practice seeing the God, seeing Christ to Christ, like face to face, seeing Christ to Christ with everybody you meet. And so, someone sent me an amusing anecdote about a grandfather at the supermarket. He was there with his small grandson who was, you know how children can act up. So the picnic was taking things off the shelf and throwing them in the shopping trolley. And the grandfather was putting them in the back of the shelf, so the child was screaming and carrying on. And the lady just heard him very quietly saying, "It's okay, William. It's all right. We'll soon be home. This will soon be over and we'll be on our way. And so this went on up one island, down the other, and eventually at the cashier, the child was tossing things on the floor, and the grandpa just said, just be calm, William. Just stay calm. You'll soon be on the way home. So she followed him, or she didn't follow him, she went out into the car park where, when she had checked her groceries, and there he was getting into his car with this obstreperous little picnic. And she said, I have to really commend you for your restraint and your patience and your equanimity and, you know, the calmness with which you handled this child. She said to him, you know, William is very lucky to have a grandpa like you. He said, thank you very much, ma'am. But my name is William, the little wretch named Kevin. So. Just keep calm, William. You'll soon reach home. In a book by author Gerald Jampolsky titled Out of the Darkness into the Light, he writes, and I quote, we withhold love from ourselves by denying it. We think that there is something out there in the external world that we need, and we begin to get upset when we don't get it. We try to control people. We try to manipulate them and live a life where there is a lot of attack, a lot of saying, I'm right and you're wrong, unquote. People don't realize that in the battle we see is in the external world is really an internal battle within our own minds. Jampolsky makes the point that problems in relationships usually escalate, and this is so important, when the spiritual element is absent. You see, when I do marriage counseling, that is one of the things that I really try to emphasize. There has to be a spiritual element in your union. Because when you feel separate from your source, you begin to be fearful and to see everything as competition or as a threat to your own security and your own safety. And so when this happens, you really begin to treat love like a commodity, which you only share with a select few of your inner circle and withhold it from the rest of the world. And when you do that, my friends, you are withholding the love from yourself. Just imagine if an artist or a sculptor or a painter or some artist decided not to create anymore because they felt that if they continued creating, the person or persons that they are in an argument with or in enmity with would also get to enjoy their work. That's like cementing over your front garden because you don't want your neighbor to enjoy the flowers. In Jamaica, we say you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. So the truth is, love is flowing out from God through us, and we must not block the flow. So, the good news is that love is intrinsic. You can't create it and you can't stop it. Sometimes we bottle it up. We put layers and layers of protective coatings around our heart. And then what happens? We are the ones that have sclerosis, hardening of the arteries. So we need to soften and to open up and to set our intention to soften and open and allow love to shine through us. I want us to do a little exercise right now that is a practice for that. I want you just to think of someone in your life whom you love dearly. Just bring somebody to mind who you really love. And now gently close your eyes and for a moment feel the love that fills you when you think of him or her. Now, let that love beam out from you in a complete circle, like the halo around a candle or a bright light. Just see that love emanating from you, and imagine it radiating from the space where you are right now, blessing everyone and everything in its path. And now take a deep breath and open your eyes, feeling wonderful. We're back? Good. When we let the warmth of our love flow out from us in a complete circle, it engulfs everyone. It doesn't exclude anything. It fills the entire world, and especially your immediate world, making it a better place. So meet people Christ to Christ and allow that love to do its perfect work in your life. And so I want to give you your assignment. Your assignment is a very simple assignment, but it's a very pleasurable one. Tomorrow at midday, I'd like you to pause at 12 noon from whatever you're doing, take a deep breath, and intone the sound ah, like this. Ah. Let's all do it together. Ah. Ah is the universal sound of the heart. It's the song of the heart. And I want us to pause tomorrow wherever we are at noon, and just do it at noon your time. No matter to try and do the time change. Set your devices to beep at noon for you, and just take a deep breath and intone ah 6 times. Let us do it now. And when you're finished intoning, just say, I choose love. So let's do it at our own pace. 6. Take a deep breath. Ah. Out loud. Ah. 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 I choose love. How does it feel? I hope your neighbors don't think. Let them think. It's the sound of the heart, the song of the heart. And so that universal, non-denominational heart sound has a very powerful effect when it's done in concert with other people. Dr. Ernest Holmes, to conclude, writes, quote, love alone shall discover the heart of God at the heart of every human. Love alone shall reveal the self to the self and find enthroned in the high citadel of the secret place of God in our own heart that beneficence which enhances and embraces the whole world. My friends, may that love be the heart of your way and the way of your heart in all the fullness and beauty of its expression this week. Namaste.
I choose love. Oh. Thank you, Reverend John. What a wonderful and timely message. You know, some songs came to my mind during that encouragement, like Cynthia Sluss's You Look Like Love. Yes. You know? And also Alicia Keys' Make Love, Not Only War. You know, and finally, I radiate the love that comes from deep within my being. Yeah, wonderful encouragement, Reverend John, to love each other. You know, and this is an encouragement which is so timely, given some of what is happening in some places in the world. It's to keep our hearts open and to still see the divine in everyone, separate and apart from whatever activity they may have engaged in. Thank you, Reverend John. And now it's time for a musical item. And today we have practitioner Carol Campbell. Carol.
Good morning. You know, someone sent me a quote from Rumi this morning that said, Every religion has love, but love has no religion.
If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why? If one little dream ever came true, why can't it happen for you? If some people live the life of their dreams, why can't you do it too? Dare to dream, dare to see how life can really be. See your dreams coming true, and they'll belong to you. Just dare to see the life you want to live. Dare to give the dream within you power. Every hour you see your dreams as true, gives them power to bring all things to you. See it now in your mind, and it belongs to you. Just believe your dreams, and you will find they're right now coming true. Just dare to know that life could love you so. Dare to live as if your dreams are real. Every hour you see your dreams as true, gives them power to bring all things to you. See it now in your mind, and it belongs to you. And the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Yes, yes. The dream is to let that love that we were created to be, just to bless the world. Oh my goodness, thank you, Carol. And so let us articulate our dream for Jamaica, the truth of our beloved island in the prayer of Jamaica. Please stand and say with me. It's on the flyer in your program and on the screen if you are watching us on the web. Together, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is. And we sing our second hymn, Immortal Love.
Immortal love, forever full, forever flowing free, forever shared, forever hold, a never ebbing sea. Though letter fail and systems fall, and every symbol wanes, thy spirit in and over all eternally remains. O love, awaken us and blow the mist of doubt away. Shine out, O love divine, and show the glory of each day. Immortal love, forever full, forever flowing free, forever shared, forever whole, in us forever be.
Just take your love offerings in your hand, and if you are at home and about to press the donate.templeoflightcsl.org button, just first put your hand on your heart and say with us, lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. So be it. Thank you, Father. And so it is. And so at the end, after we have sung the peace song, do come forward and put your loving gifts in the box at the front, in front of the lectern, and know that the gifts of love are working to spread the truth that sets people free. God bless you. And now with this closing prayer, know with me that the gifts of ourself is the gift of God's love to the world, goes from this celebration this morning to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate everyone whom we encounter. And we see through the eyes of the divine as we breathe the universal heart sound, and know that that hymn of praise is uniting us with all creation to the honor and glory of God. I know that this is the truth, and I give thanks that it is so, and so it is. And let us sing, yes, there is love on earth.
Yes, there is love on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is love on earth, the love that was meant to be, with God as our power, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, love begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, my vow to take each moment and live each moment in love eternal.
let that love continue with you tomorrow morning at 6 for quiet moments in the garden. And on Tuesday evening with practitioner Vance Gardiner for a spiritual mind healing service. And again on Wednesday as we greet the dawn. And then on Thursday for class in the morning or class in the evening, and prayer power as well at 6 in the evening. And then come to share again with us in the beauty